What's going on, guys? It's late, but I wanted to make a video. I was thinking about something and I wanted to go ahead and just drop it. So if the lighting's off, I'm recording at night. But this video was inspired by the recent Usher and Chris Brown altercation. And the theme of today's video is based around guarding your reputation, because you have to be aware of whether you're the good person or the bad person. Because based on that, the world, mass psychology will play you accordingly. So we're gonna start with the situation, and then I'm gonna bring it back in for you guys to understand completely, right? So before we get into it, go and like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you like the video. All the ways you can support are in the description below. So Chris Brown gets into it with Usher. Usher hosts him a party. Everything's going good until he sees Teyana Taylor. Now, Chris and Teyana Taylor had a falling out because she didn't want to perform with him on his Michael Jackson tribute that basically got canceled, right? So Usher, he's mad at her. They're talking about it. Usher's caping and white knighting for Teyana Taylor, right? And so Chris Brown ain't having her or him. And they're talking and arguing and cussing each other out, right? And then allegedly, we don't know if it's true or not, Usher followed Chris Brown out because Chris Brown was like, fuck it, I'm screwed. I'm done with her. Since she's here, I'm done. I'm gone. And Usher followed him out. And allegedly, his security team jumped Usher. So, but that's not what the whole video's about. It's much deeper than that. In the world, we've been taught to think dualistically. Good and bad, right and wrong, right, left, up, down, red pill, blue pill. We've been taught to think dualistically. But guess what? In a dynamic and ever-changing world where multiple things can be right and wrong at the same time, it confuses the hell out of you. Right? Because that's how the real world works. It's very dynamic and ever-changing. So if you think dualistically, you're going to be screwed, right? But guess what? The average human being thinks dualistically. So guess what? If you're the good or bad guy, depending on how the world perceives you, if you're the good guy, they're going to side with you and you can't do anything wrong, even though you can clearly do some fucked up things. If you're the bad guy, you can't ever do anything good. Take Chris Brown and Usher. The average person is going to go with Usher because Usher's deemed the hero. Is he actually the hero? Chris Brown's going to be deemed the villain because of his past. But in this situation right here, is he really the villain? More importantly, are you a villain or are you a good person in people's eyes? It's hard to go from bad to good, and it's easy to go from good to bad. because the masses always look for a reason to throw their tomatoes, to get their pitchforks and rise up against you. They're always looking for a justification to drop you. I remember I was watching Saw. I think it was a Saw movie that came out before the most recent one. And in the hospital scene, they were like trying to figure out the games Michael Myers was playing. And Michael Myers had convinced them that it was an older gentleman inside the hospital that was Michael Myers. So guess what? The crew, the masses, turned on him, chased him all the way up and out of the hospital until he jumped off the building. Knowing your reputation, knowing how you are perceived, is very crucial to the social dynamics and the social games being played, right? Now, if you're on a lower level, it's not going to matter as much because not as many people know you. But as you rise in the ranks, your reputation hinges on this good and bad theory, right? Because let's just be honest, most people are sheep, right? Human beings are herd animals. They let one guy over in Germany about 100 years ago, 80 years ago, destroy a fourth of humanity. When somebody could have easily walked into his office one day and just did the do. Be wary of people's perceptions of you, because there's a saying that goes, either you die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? That's the part in that superhero song with Future and Metro Boomin at the end when Chris Brown is singing about that, and then Jay-Z has a little undertone with those lyrics. That's one of the realest things you'll ever realize about human nature. Once you start out being good, you better hope that you don't mess up. And if you start out bad, you will never be able to go look good. Most times. You might get away with one every once in a while, right? Be weary of your reputation and how you are perceived. And depending on how you are perceived, that depends on how you should play your cards. And guess what? If you're the villain in most people's eyes, which means you'll never be able, you can do something good, you can do 10 things good, but people are going to find a flaw in it. You're better off just embracing being the villain. At that point, right? So I want to come in and drop this video on you guys, give you guys some insight to how the world really works, right? Help you guys out in your daily lives and your reputations, because whether you guys know it or not, there's a social game being played at all times by all people, right? Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad all the time, but there's a game being played. And you have to know the rules of that game in order to survive, in order to win that game.